Hey guys, sorry for being late. Let me just, alright. Let me just do some stuff right now. Just get this set up here. Browser source. Browser, okay. URL. Alright. Let's move this. I'll just kind of move this down. Nope. Okay, there we go. I'll just kind of have that in the corner there. There we go. I think that looks all right. How is everyone doing today? I just got finished doing a double feature of of Vincent Gallo's movies. Yeah, I see that. Kino, get out of the dang shower. Yes, I did have to thoroughly cleanse. I'm a very clean boy. I see Heartsease in the chat here. I might be joined by some other YouTubers for this. I was talking to them, so we'll see if they want to hop on. Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to talk about some of the films that I saw this week. You know, if you guys had any questions about my newest video, about Come and See. You know, that one was a fun one to make. Actually, it was a pretty simple video to make, to be honest. I read into a lot of the stuff that happened, back then, and try to sort of condense it down. I actually thought it was going to be shorter than it ended up being. I thought that the video was going to be like 8 minutes. I thought that the video was going to be like 8 minutes, and it ended up being 15. That just tends to happen with me because I wrote it, and I think that the initial thing that I wrote was like, I don't know, it was like 1,500 words or something like that. And then I was like, oh, I'm skimping out on so much. Like, I need to really embellish some of these things. I need to go a little bit deeper. And then it ended up being a longer video. It seems like now, whenever I tell myself that, yeah, I'm just going to make a short video, I can get it done in like 2 days, it ends up, becoming a much bigger project. So, I don't know if I'm ever going to learn. That's the thing. I don't know if I'm going to learn, I think I'm always just going to be fooling myself in various ways. And, so talking about the Vincent Gallo, video, I'm telling myself now, oh, it's probably going to be 10 to 15 minutes. And I know that for a fact, if I say that, it's going to end up being like a half-hour long video. So, maybe that'll be a little bit of a longer video. But if it ends up, I'm going to try to write it on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And if it ends up being longer, I'm probably going to end up having to hire an editor for at least part of the video, or else I'm just not going to have time to make yeah, I was taking a bubble bath, cokehead. I'm just not going to have time, because also this month I want to many bills find the film to be strange. Oh wait, okay, wait, I just got caught off. I'm going to read Fiberglass Paradise. Hey Kino, I live around the Buffalo area, and Buffalo 66 has a special place in terms of being cinema that captures the zeitgeist around here, though many Bills fans find the film to be strange. Well, the film is pretty strange. It's got like this kind of surrealistic quality to it. I don't know, like almost like you can see his inspirations in there, with maybe a little bit of Lynch and some Jarmusch, and the editing is pretty cool. But it's like the people are real, but they're also kind of how he imagines them to be at the same time, if that makes any sense. You know, like they seem like projections, or I don't know, like thoughts on Asian women. Hey, Mumkey, do you want to hop on the stream, Mumkey? I can add you into a call. Hey there, nobody. Asian women, you know, it depends. It honestly depends what Asian nation, right? Obviously, Japanese women. Japanese women are great, right? Korean women, you know, Korean women can be. Well, the thing about some Korean women, this is from my friends who have dated Korean women, is that they can be quite materialistic. That's what I heard, at least. So, I don't know. And then as far as like the other countries, you know, obviously Asia's a really big continent, you know. Can I put Israeli women in there? And Persian women, Saudi Arabian women, you know, all great. Of course, there's beautiful women in every country. Pink Floyd, Thai Women Love Me. I don't think that those are women. Pink Floyd 16. I think, you know, if you can tell yourself that they're women, but but yeah, so Buffalo 66, Buffalo 66 was a really fun movie, really heartwarming movie about a guy attempting to not gosh, you're the chat is just I shouldn't be talking when I'm reading the chat, because I just like zone out. I'm like, what the hell? What the fuck am I looking at here? No, Reactor is not that, cokehead. Wolfgang, curious to hear your thoughts on Gallo's newfound cum-selling endeavor. It's actually not newfound. He was doing that back in 2004, I think, 2005, and I'm pretty sure that it's just a gigantic troll. I think his, like, by Vincent Gallo's semen is just a joke, because he's selling it for $1 million. Like, no one's gonna do that. You know, hey, actually, Wolfgang is here. Hey, Wolfgang, is it okay if we watch your Brown Bunny video on stream? I haven't seen your Brown Bunny yet, because I was waiting for for me to watch the film before I watched your video. So, would it be okay? Okay, cool. All right. Well, you know what, guys? I think we'll pop that on. Let me look that up here. Wolfgang. Wait. I'm gonna have to. Wolfgang. Oh, okay. Sorry. I am subscribed to you. I believe. Yes, I am. Hey, your American Psycho video has 1.2 thousand views. And your Brown Bunny video has 1,500 views. That's pretty good. How many subs do you have? 424? Alright. Okay. Let me put on display capture here. There we go. Tell me if you guys... Oh, yeah, fuck.
2003, a post-9/11 odyssey of cinema, birthing many great joys and wonders. Within all these happenings, young director Vincent Gallo premieres his newest film, his follow-up to the indie darling, Buffalo 66. 3 years of hard work go by, and Gallo...
I just want to ask you guys, can you hear it? Wait, fuck. Can you guys hear... Ah, shit. I don't know what I'm doing here. Ah! Wait. Wait a sec. I'm bad at this, okay? Please be patient. I'm retarded. Can you guys hear it? Okay, cool. Let me go back to it.
Gallo's Day finally comes. He presents a rough cut of the film to Cannes, and it gets booed for the entire duration. Roger Ebert claimed it was the worst film in the history of the festival. It practically ruined Vincent Gallo's career and made him never release a film again. Did the film deserve all that? Not really. And anyone that disagrees with me is a fucking idiot and can send hate mail or money to me at the Piccadilly Station mail toilets. The Brown Bunny is a film about Bud Clay, that drives across the country to attend his next race. As we follow the road trip, we see that he's struggling to get over a girl he once loved. It's hard to relate personally, seeing as the last girl that talked to me called me a massive spurg for screaming at a blue-haired waitress for being a terrible waitress. The film consists of long takes that go on for minutes at a time, where nothing really seems to happen. It can be kind of a turn off if you're not really used to these types of films, as there's lots of scenes of nothing where we just watch Vincent Gallo speed around on his bike, go about his journey on the road, get some noodles, get some head. There's very little dialogue, and the dialogue that is there is kind of awkward and timid. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Why would I want to watch this instead of this? Oh yeah. Well, the film is just a little slow is all. Like Kyle in the 3rd grade. I mean, he couldn't really get all the answers on time, but he still got some of them. The narrative's slow, but that's kind of the beauty of it. The ride never really ends, and by the time it's finishing, as the film starts to ramp up, you crave the silence that the first hour gave you. It's a little abstract and confusing at first, but so is love. Well, I mean, not that I would know much about that. I mean, just look at those numbers. So why isn't all of this just pretentious drivel? It should be, but it isn't. For me at least it isn't, because Gallo really puts himself out there. He and the film aren't pretending to be something it isn't. It's not cool or quirky or anything else these types of films usually try to perpetrate. He's just someone lost in the memories of an old love, crying at the wheels at times, crying into the arms of strangers, and feeling as lost as a lot of us. There's really nothing like losing someone you once had. I mean, a few of the gamers here can relate to that. Meandering within the aimlessness of the good old US of A gives you the chance to be put into Bud's place and in turn self-reflect with him. Not only is there depth, but also a lot of feels. Gallo's acting really helps to sell the atmosphere, along with the haunting emptiness of the landscape. There's no shortage of beautiful shots of the road up ahead. It's hard to talk about the film without talking about the controversy. At the end of the film, Vincent Gallo gets his dick sucked by Chloe Sevigny, which was a huge deal on release, and some memed that the film was made just so my boy Gallo could get some head. It sort of seems like it at first, but after listening to the director's commentary, he talks about how nervous he was leading up to the scene, and during the scene, how vulnerable and uncomfortable he felt. It's a shame really that a lot of people got turned away from the film because of a 4-minute scene. It's normal to hear about the criticism of how vain and conceited Gallo is in his films, and it's kind of understandable, but I can't really see it personally. To me, his films are genuine and reflective of his own insecurities as a person. Personally, I only see an absolute Chad revealing his inner incel. When the film released after Cannes, it got recut, having about 20 minutes trimmed down from the rough cut originally shown, but the damage was already done. Roger Ebert said the new version was a lot better, which seems like a total cop-out, because the scenes that were cut were fairly inconsequential, and barely affected the film at all. The film made little money, and Gallo hasn't released another major film since. It's a brutal showing of the power that critics have on the general public. Despite the film now gaining a bit of a cult following, it's hard to see the film ever getting the mainstream attention it really deserves. I mean, the director's commentary alone is worth a listen. Vincent Gallo has really interesting insights into both the film and the process of making it, whilst also being incredibly based.
A little more difficult to work with. But she's very watchable, she's good. I'm happy that I don't have Spider-Girl or Shoplifter in my film.
Gallo's excellent editing pieces together fragments of what could have been an absolute shitfest, if done by anybody else, but his unique vision and talent to reflect his soul onto the screen pieces the scenes together in a way that flows really smoothly. The narrative consists of him simply driving from one track to the next, but it becomes such a depressing look onto oneself and the loneliness felt after loss. The visuals complement this, usually saturated and sometimes blurred to reflect this sentiment. There's a scene in particular that really hits me where, as he's driving around LA, Bud drives by some prostitutes and after passing a few, he comes by one that he invites to the car. What they do is they just go to get a bite at McDonald's and he ditches her on the side of the road afterwards. He can't even find himself in the arms of another, paying a bitch to just eat with him and drown out the silence. Just let that sink in. Like, how sad do you have to be to actually pay someone to do this? Seriously though, I mean, it's hard to see someone push away time and time again the opportunity to surround himself in something that isn't just the quiet. Throughout the entire film we see these beautiful shots and interesting sights, but nothing can appeal to the lost soul that is Vincent Gallo. Solitude like this is common, but nothing really captures it like this in the modern era. There are no screams or barely any cries for help. It's just a biker driving around the country, hoping to find peace with his past. The film gives me a really weird feeling that you just sort of have to watch to understand. It's hard seeing Bud, or well Vincent, reliving his fuck-ups, and as someone who has fucked up repeatedly in the past, it really does hit when not a lot of shit hits. There's a care and love put into this that most films lack. Brown Bunny lingers in my subconsciousness. As time goes on, something inside me refuses to forget every slow detail that constitutes this film's DNA. No matter what critics have said in the past, the soul bleeds through the screen. I don't really give a shit what anyone else thinks of the film, I know I love it. It's one of the most genuine pieces of film out there. It's hard to find this level of comfort found within the uncomfortable. Vincent Gallo may never return to cinema, but he was able to communicate in 2 films what most directors can't achieve throughout their entire careers. So,
I muted myself. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to, like, you know, have any I wanted you guys to focus on the video. Since it yeah. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back, boys. Yeah, I was telling you guys to go subscribe to Wolfgang over Alpha Swag Self-Mute. That's correct. Yeah, everyone go over there, subscribe to my boy. He's been following the Kino Corner since 2018. You know, he's one of the OGs of the Kino Kingdom. So he's got another video here on let me go back to display capture here. Let's look around. Let's do a little bit of actually, you know what? Wait, let me put my webcam up here. We're gonna do what I call a little bit of browser. Wait, what am I doing? Guys, I really don't know. We're gonna do a little bit of. No, what? We're we're gonna do a little bit of internet surfing. All right, look at that. That's modern art right there. We're gonna surf the internet a little bit. Let's see. Let's go back to his channel here. You got Wolfgang. Nice little abstract postmodernist word art going on. American Psycho. You only have 4 videos. You got to make more, dude. Harassment Architecture. Passion of Joan of Arc. I don't know what harassment architecture is, but I like harassment, that's for sure. You know what? Let's go to the best website in the world, and that is Letterboxd. I want to go through some of the some good. Yeah, you know what, Karsten? I agree with you here, but I don't like you. All right, guys. Do you guys like have a like on Letterboxd it says popular reviews of friends, and it's almost always the exact same reviews for like weeks. It never like recommends me actually like good reviews or anything like that. Let's see what films are popular with friends. Let's see what they have to say here. If there's any kind of you know what? I want to go look at the Brown Bunny reviews. That's what I want to do. Let's see what people have to say about the Brown Bunny. I'm sure that everyone's gonna have based opinions on this, right? 3.1. One day I will be thin, but Vincent Gallo will always be the director of the Brown Bunny. Okay, so this person is not based. That's obvious. I actually think it's kind of clever that Gallo tried to deflect criticism of his narcissism by getting someone else to suck his dick for him. Let's take a look at this. This person's a woman. Look at that. Very based. That's a very based one. A tribute made for him by him. That doesn't even make any sense. This should have been a short film, only including the first and last 10 minutes. You know, Gallo said after he finished The Brown Bunny, like, these people are like, oh, I always keep wondering how Gallo's career could have turned if this had been good. He said after he finished The Brown Bunny that he wasn't going to work for the rest of his life. He was like, I'm not working at all for the rest of my life. Like, that's done. I'm done. Like, this is it. That's what he said. Now, he ended up actually directing after this, and he ended up acting after this. He was in a Francis Ford Coppola movie. He's been in a few other... He's been in several other things, but for the most part, yeah, he was just like, yeah, he goes, now I'm just in it for the money. Like, I've made what I wanted. So, So people are like, oh, you know, I wonder if everything's a Brown Bunny. That doesn't even make any sense. Unfortunately not Brown Bunnies as in Bang Bros. The worst movie of the 2000s. I tried sex, the Brown Bunny was better. Yeah, see, that's an actual based review. Gives you head in reference to the Brown Bunny. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. The Brown Bunny is the hypnosis of life's great disappointments put on screen. Imagine blowing a film bro and he says, wow, this is just like the Brown Bunny. Okay, so I don't understand this. Let me just, I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna turn, what the, display capture. I'm gonna turn this back off. I'm gonna just come back and just talk to the boys for a little bit here. But I don't get this. What is with this whole, like, I've been seeing this a lot recently, like people people who are like talking about film bros all the time. Like they talk about film bros as if these mythical film bros are some sort of boogeyman or some sort of like block, you know, like this giant block of people that, I don't know, of guys and young men, I'm assuming, who like to watch David Lynch. Yeah, and TV is almost always cape shit. TV does have some good threads every now and then. I'll sometimes pop on TV. I don't normally go to 4chan much anymore. I used to be a big TV user, but you know, I don't know. I just haven't been going there anymore that much recently. Yeah, and Film Bros, I don't know. It's just another one of those like made up. It's just another one of those like made up kinds of people that women on Twitter and women on Letterboxd like to complain about, when in reality they're just complaining about an ex-boyfriend that they had that happened to like movies and probably made fun of their taste in films. You know, because I guess you could maybe lump me into that category of film bro, although I'm not I'm not like most of them, you know. I just happen to be a young male who you know, likes movies. But yeah, I think it's just a way for women online and for weak men online to complain about men who happen to like films. Is taking the effort to go through your film list really worth the effort? I'm not sure I'll actually go watch more than 2 50s movies within the next 2 years. Who does? Yeah, I mean, I encourage watching older films. A lot of older films are quite good. You know, I think too that watching, like, how I got into movies was watching, well, how I sort of got into the history of films and all that kind of stuff is I started off in the silent era, watching a lot of silent films, lots of really interesting silent movies, and making my way through the talkies and through the 30s, 40s, 50s. And then I was able to, how do I call in? Just start a thing with me on Discord. Hey, can you hear?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm using my shitty Discord mic. Do I sound okay?
Yeah. Hey guys, can you hear Mumkey? I'm gonna just ask the chat really fast here. I have it on super low.
Oh, should I scream?
Oh, okay. They can hear you.
Oh, I see Cokehead Tortoise in the chat. You should ban him. He's a detractor.
Yeah.
He gave us a shitty movie idea.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We last night we went over all your movie ideas that you gave us.
Which they can see on Sunday morning on
Yeah.
Izukino.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bring it up here. There's a lot that's I don't want to spoil it. Pastor says, has Mumkey seen Jude Sus yet?
Isn't that a documentary called World War II?
So there was a Nazi propaganda film named Jude Sus.
The Jews are being sus?
Yeah.
Is that really what it's about?
Yeah. And the director of it got convicted of war crimes.
Well, yeah.
So it's a...
He made a movie called Jude Seuss. Of course he did a war crime.
Wait. Pastor says we should go on to Letterboxd, and let's see if you can maybe see this on my...
Well, what were you saying before I called in? Because I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, I forget. I don't...
Somebody in the chat is upset that you stopped talking about it.
Oh. Yes.
Something about you watched the talkies.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just saying that, like, as far as, like, how I got into film history, and it's more like how I'm able to, what's the word? Appreciate a lot of little stuff in films, is just because I watched a lot of movies just to see how film as a art form, has changed, progressed over the years, and seen you know. And then when you go back and you watch like a film from the 30s and you understand the times and everything like that, you can put all that in perspective. And I think that it just lets you
Yeah, I think over the last 100 or so years of film, I think really we hit the cultural peak of artistry with Ant-Man and the Wasp. That might be like all of film history has been building up to that moment.
Yeah, I would say so too. You know, Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is definitely an actor to rival Cary Grant and Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, he's really the Charlie Chaplin of our time because he can give a performance with or without sound.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, you know, Paul Rudd's best performance was in what was it called? Celery Man, the Tim and Eric sketch.
Oh, when he does the thumbs up at the computer?
Yeah, that was his best. That was his best performance. Or also,
You don't think it was as Ant-Man?
no, I think Ant-Man is probably number 3. So I think number 1 is Celery Man. Number 2 is Mac and Me. And
He was in that?
yeah, he was in Mac and Me.
As who? Mac or me?
He was, I don't know, he was some character in there. It's been a little while since I've seen it.
Oh.
Actually, funny story about Mac and Me. It's because of Mac and Me that I was accused of being a racist.
Well, I mean, accused, validated, proved.
So in my Sallow video, when I'm talking about how culture is shit and like and how we live in a fast food culture essentially, you know,
That's right.
and that is right. I use a clip from Mac and Me where all these people are dancing in a McDonald's because, you know, Mac and Me was essentially a 90-minute McDonald's commercial, and because I guess a lot of the dancers were black, some people were like, "Wow, he's talking about shit while literally showing black people."
That's right.
That's right. That's racist. And I was like,
That is right.
and I'm like, you know that there's white people in the frame too. And they're like, but there were some black people in the frame and you said shit. And I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my
you
God.
can't deny that.
Yeah, I can't deny it. But it's also so... I was like, what? I guess you just have to deal with that on the internet, you know? It didn't bother me. In fact, I just trolled them a little bit. I then made them feel like they were racists, and then this was in a Discord group, and then they all had to do their own therapy sessions. I'm not even kidding you. That was fun. It was fun. I'm not gonna read some of these in the chat. You can read the chat what Johan Retard said. But your movie sucks. Yeah, he says, remember when YMS said that, wait a sec. When YMS said Citizen Kane invented narrative in cinema. That was a funny moment. He said that, do you remember that, Mumkey?
No.
Yeah, so I guess on the Sardonicast or something, YMS was like, yeah, before Citizen Kane, they were just like fucking around with cameras. They weren't actually like making movies.
Yeah, that might not be the best take.
Yeah.
But what I mean, he's also said that he doesn't really care for movies made before like the 80s or 60s or something. So, I mean, I don't think it's a huge deal.
You know, Mumkey, while you're here, I think now is as good a time as ever to talk about probably the greatest film ever made.
A Serbian film?
Yes.
Yeah. That's not wrong.
Yeah, so as everyone here knows, we've both seen a Serbian film. The movie where a guy holds his dick hostage with a knife and then jumps out a window.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he does a lot of
gnarly
shit in that movie. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's so a Serbian film is actually a lot funnier than I think. I like watching these movies that everyone talks about, like, oh, this is so weird, this is so disgusting and offensive, you won't be able to make it through it, you know, all that kind of stuff. And, like, going into these movies, like, you know that it's all fake. They're not going to release it if any of that shit was real.
They did have real child actors that have since gone off the grid.
Yeah, yeah. The one actor who played as his boy is not credited.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably dead.
um,
I always think of a
Yeah.
Serbian film as being a horror version of The Hangover. Are you familiar with that movie?
yeah, of course.
Because it's really about somebody who gets drugged and then trying to solve the mystery of what shenanigans they got into while they were under the influence. Only in this case, the shenanigans are less of kidnapping Ken Jeong and more of fucking their own son in the ass.
Yeah, yeah, it's like I'm drugged. I woke up, waking up a week later, only to find out that you only just like destroyed your entire life.
Yeah, and instead of trying to find Doug, he's trying to find his family, and it turns out the family was where he began in the first place, just like The Hangover. Very similar movie.
In fact, you can think of a Serbian film as being The Hangover, but for adults. The Hangover's for children.
Which one came out first? I feel like the Serbian film is older.
Let me look that up. So let's see.
And Todd Phillips, I mean, he made Joker. He seems like the kind of guy who would watch a Serbian film and think, yeah, I could do that.
Actually,
make my own
The
version of
Hangover
that.
came out 2009, and the Serbian film came out 2010.
Oh, fuck.
A Serbian
Yeah.
film is a remake of The Hangover.
I would say so. It's
Yeah.
the Serbian version of it. Their culture is a little different over there.
Yeah, you have to understand that you have to accept everything in a Serbian film because it's a different culture.
Well, that only applies to non-white cultures, I think.
Are Serbs white though?
I mean, Milos looks white to me.
Oh yeah, Milos. That's a big name. Milos Forman. Milos.
And what's the bad guy's name? Victor?
Yeah.
Victor with a K?
And the bad guy really is his brother. I mean, he's one of the.
Well,
Everyone
there's a lot of... I mean, I don't know
everyone's
if there's a
pretty-
good guy in the movie.
Yeah, that's true. Vukmir.
Maybe, I guess his wife, but I mean, his wife is also complacent in a lot of fucked up shit.
Right, Milos's dingaling.
Did they use prosthetic penises in that movie? Because his dick's kind of big.
I'm pretty sure that was prosthetic.
I mean, there is a scene where you graphically see a woman chomping down on his cock, so I really hope it was fake.
Yeah, I was thinking of making a letterboxd list of movies with the most memorable blowjob scenes, and having a Serbian film, The Brown Bunny.
Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, Ghostbusters. Wait, let me just pull it up on. Let me go to Letterboxd right now. We can make this list.
Okay.
Wait one moment. Let me do display capture here, and bring this up, and go here. Okay, all right. We'll go to my profile, and we will make a list. Lists. Start a new list. Movies with the most memorable BJ scenes. All right. So let's just get this in. So of course a Serbian film because she chomps down on it. The Brown Bunny.
Nymphomaniac has that train scene.
Oh yeah, I was actually thinking about that today because when I was watching The Brown Bunny and I was like, what other movies did they have like? That's Volume 1 too. Ghostbusters.
I never did watch Volume 2. Is it even worth finishing?
Volume 2 is not as good as Volume 1 because Volume 1 was like pretty funny and didn't take itself that seriously.
Yeah, it's like a movie specifically for people who like weird sex competitions and fly fishing.
Yeah.
Very niche.
And then Volume 2 gets way too serious for my taste.
Oh.
Where she gets into this like crime ring and for me it just was too serious. It was too dark. Volume 1 was able to sort of balance it out and make it kind of funny for for it. Let's see what are people in the chat saying, because I can't see the chat right now. Are they recommending?
They're saying the Naked Brothers Band has a good blowjob scene. I must have missed that scene with the Rosalina and Nat going to town on each other. I'll have to rewatch that.
Yeah, we'll have to rewatch it and determine where Nat Wolff went wrong. Right? It's Nat Wolff who's in the bad ones, right? And it's Alex.
I'm not even gonna. It turns out I was wrong. I don't know. I guess they're both in good and bad movies. I can't even keep them straight.
I can't keep them straight either because they kind of look the same to me.
Yeah, I mean, they are brothers. Me and my brother, people think that we both look the same, which, I don't know. I feel like I've destroyed my body enough to distinguish myself from him and his glow up.
Yeah, and he's married now.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great feeling when your younger brother gets married?
How was the wedding?
Hey, it was fine.
Did you get drunk? Did you have fun?
I got kind of bored because I had to go there super early, so I was at the venue for probably 15 hours that day. It forced to talk to family members I haven't seen in years and have no interest in talking to.
Oh yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always better to go to the wedding of a person not in your family.
I'd rather just not go to a wedding at all. Fuck weddings.
I don't know.
I don't give a shit.
Parties are fun.
Are they?
Yeah, I mean,
Have you been to a Midwestern party? The DJ's playing fucking country music and shit. The fucking Applebee's song was playing. I just wanted to leave.
Alright, have fun.
The whatchamacallit? Yeah, I haven't been to a Midwestern party. I've only been to Florida parties.
Well,
and
don't bother.
European parties. That's it. European parties is just like walking around with alcohol outside, and just drinking out of wine bottles.
Confish brings up a good point. Good blowjob scenes. How about Elmo and Grouchland?
Yeah.
That was the first movie I saw in theaters in my whole life. I still remember that.
The Adventures of Elmo and Grouchland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever year it came out is how old I was. I don't remember.
Well, you're a year younger than me, right?
I was born in 95. What year was that movie in theaters?
99, so you were 4.
Yeah. My first movie.
I think my first
Just
movie...
Me and my mom.
I think my first movie was Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No,
That
actually...
has nothing on Elmo and Grouchland.
Actually, no. It was Toy Story 2.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
There you
that was
go.
my first movie in theaters, was Toy Story 2. I think that was 98.
Was Lion King in 94 or 95?
That was 94, because that was the year I was
Okay.
born.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to just check. I'm going to take off display capture here so I can check the chat to see if anyone has come up with ideas. Robel could probably... Wait. Lars von Trier drags his movies out for way too long these days. Requiem for a Dream. Yeah.
I did like it when Lars von Trier played the pie. Have you seen that when he plays a pie?
Wait, no.
In Too Many Cooks, the Adult Swim thing,
Oh, yeah.
they casted Lars von Trier as pie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm Facebook friends with the serial killer from the Too Many Cooks video.
Oh, yeah, that guy's great. You
Yeah.
still talk to him?
I talked to him a little bit off and on a couple of years ago.
He probably charges too much for us to get him in a project, I assume.
He's also kind of like a raging libtard, like in a really annoying way.
Whatever. We can put him in a movie.
He's just kind of annoying with that. I don't know. Midnight
It should
Cowboy.
be-
Yes, Midnight Cowboy. That's the one I was thinking about this morning. I'm gonna add.
Who's
Midnight
in
Cowboy. John Voight and Dustin Hoffman. That's the one where he goes, "I'm walking here." You know the
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that Midnight Cowboy. That's right. That
How many BJs are in the Teletubbies movie? I didn't know they had a movie.
Are
Are you thinking of the Oogie Loves and the Big Balloon Adventure?
Let me see. Antichrist. Wait, I haven't. It's been a while since I've seen Antichrist. And the list for the best BJ. No. Oh wait. They call the list, and the award for the best BJ goes to.
A Serbian film.
Yeah.
Some guys like it when women use teeth, you know?
Yeah. Oh.
Not me.
actually, that reminds me. Have you seen that movie Filth?
No.
Filth was actually a really good movie with James McAvoy as the Scottish detective who is just a sex-addicted, drug-addicted piece of shit who wants to win this, like... He wants to get a promotion, so he sets out to basically destroy the reputations of all the other police officers by implying them and shit. And there's a scene where he busts this chick for drugs or something like that. He busts in, and to get her off, like he has her suck him off in order to like let her off scot-free, right? And
We've all been there.
and yeah, and then she starts doing it, and he like pulls back from me, goes, and he says, I'm not gonna do a good Scottish accent, but he says, "Where'd you learn that? A fucking cheese grater," and then like pushes her down to the floor. Yeah, that was and the award. Yeah, I'm gonna take Anne Frankenberry's advice here for the best BJ scene goes to ... Yeah, so Filth, and then the first half of it is really fun, and then the second half of it is depressing as shit. I really like that movie. It doesn't get enough love today, I don't think. They were like, but they were all aight. I ship Mumpke Jones in the Kino corner in my, how do I say this? Yahweh fanfiction.
Yowie? I don't know.
I don't know either. I told him I'm not, that much of a weeb. But
You don't speak Moonrune?
I don't speak Moonrune, no. So that gets back to let's get back to a Serbian film here. The movie essentially just starts off with like 20 minutes of porn. That one of the strangest things about the movie for me was how it's like he's just chilling with his wife and he puts on porn of himself on the TV.
Well, I think it was that his son found it and put it on.
No. His son found it and put it on.
Yeah.
But then they go
That's
back.
how the movie opens.
Yeah. But then they go back to their room and they're chilling on their bed. And then he puts on porn of himself on the TV in their room.
Yeah, I mean, some couples are into watching pornography together, as a little bit of foreplay, and maybe she's into watching him degrade and just sexually abuse these women while being treated as the queen she is, as his wife. And then, of course, we see that she also likes it a little bit rough. So this is, the wife character in a Serbian film has a lot more complexity than your typical Skylar Whites or other famous wives of American culture.
Skylar White, man. I hate her.
What a character.
Yeah.
You know what? I did a rewatch of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul because I'm excited for the final season of Saul.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And I have a lot of thoughts. Don't really know the best format to express them, so I guess I'll just say them here on this show that 15 people are watching. But I've come to the conclusion that Better Call Saul is the better show. No better pun intended. But when it comes to Skylar, there's this one scene in particular that all my life watching it, I watched it from Walter's point of view. But this time around I thought, you know what, let's give Skylar a shot. Let's pretend she's the main character. And you know what, maybe this newfound empathy really awoke something in my brain. But the scene where it's like season 2 or 3, I think it's season 3, Skylar wants Walt out of the house, but he just keeps showing up. And there's like a horror scene. It's filmed like it's a horror movie where Walt is just playing with his daughter and making dinner with Junior, and Skylar's just standing in the living room, terrified, knowing she can't call the police and she can't get this drug dealer out of her house. And I was like, yeah, okay, I guess from Skylar's point of view, this is pretty terrifying. Although we know, as an audience, that Walt loves his family and isn't going to hurt them. So even when I empathize with her, I still think she could have handled the situation a lot better.
Yeah, well, the scene where she's like, she just tells him, I fucked my boss. Like,
Well,
and the way that she does it, too. Oh, my God.
I mean, she did already file for a divorce at that point, so I don't really care about the I fucked Ted thing as much.
Well, Ted ended up being a complete piece of shit. You know?
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
can, and the thing is, you can see that from a mile away with this character, too. Like, that he's...
Well, I think everybody's point of view can be seen, because from Ted's point of view, he's having all these monetary issues and is, at work, and then he just receives a random inheritance of $700,000. He can spend that money however he wants. If he wants to buy a fancy car, fuck it. Skylar was being deceptive.
Yeah. Yeah, she was being deceptive, and she wasn't telling him why. But I think it goes to show his character, in that
His character is that he wants to drive a fancy car.
No. His character is that he is retarded. Like his.
Yeah.
His character.
But
is
at
that
the
he's
end of the
pretty
day, Skylar was only so invested in getting him the money because she was also involved.
Yeah, exactly.
In criminal activities. So she's like from his point of view, why the fuck does Skylar care about this so much? Fuck off. Let me do what I want.
Yeah, and then Skylar is worrying about going to jail. Yeah, because she helped him cook the books, essentially. Not essentially.
Well, and they would. I mean, if she gets audited, they're gonna find out probably about the meth empire too.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so a lot was on the line for her that, of course, he didn't know about. So
Yeah.
he's like, "Wow, I got $700,000. Wow, this is great. I'm gonna splurge a little bit, buy a fancy car. I'm gonna, And then she's like, "What the hell are you doing?" But
Yeah, I think it's hard for people to. People tend to be more harsh on Ted than they are on Walt. Whereas, like, Ted's just your average, everyday American businessman trying to cheat on his taxes a little bit. Like, who gives a fuck? He's trying to keep his father's business afloat during a rough time during the recession. Whereas Walt is, like, fucking murdering people and shit. Like, why are we so rough on Ted? He really didn't do that much.
Yeah, I mean, if in a true libertarian society, he didn't do anything wrong, right?
Yeah, and it through the libertarian lens, really, like the character of Gale, I didn't really pick up on it as a kid when I watched it, but his whole attitude of, yeah, I mean, in my libertarian view, all drugs should be legal, so it's not even immoral to be making meth. Whereas, like, somebody like Walt or Jesse, they know it's not a good thing, but they go against their own maybe set of moral code. But Gale, in his mind, he literally did nothing wrong.
Yeah, that's true. Like, Gale was just like, wow, I'm just sticking it to the man.
Yeah, and really, I don't know if I necessarily even disagree with Gale. Like, yeah, all drugs probably should be legal, and just that's how you can help people out, and we won't have as much death and destruction.
Yeah, the thing that got Gale killed is just that he's kind of a spurg. Like, he's dead because Walt just simply didn't like him. When it comes down to it, like, because if he had stayed as Walt's assistant, he probably wouldn't have died.
Well, it wasn't Gale's fault. Walt just wanted to work with Jesse.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's Gale's fault. I'm just saying he was not exactly in a good place.
Wait, another moment with Gale that maybe will shift what I've been saying is when he shows off his chemistry coffee set, and Walt takes a sip and says, "Why the fuck are we making meth?" If Gale was so smart, he should have just, like, opened a coffee shop. if it
Yeah.
was really that good. Because coffee, if I'm not wrong, coffee makes a lot more money than meth does.
Yeah, I mean, look at Starbucks. You know,
Yeah.
look at so many other big enterprises: Starbucks, Dunkin', Pete's.
Yeah.
You know, lots.
But
of,
this is why I think Better Call Saul is the better show. I think every character has three dimensions, whereas Breaking Bad is, it's a little more crass with its writing. I think a little more basic.
Cokehead Tortoise says, as a sovereign American citizen, I should be able to force one American member of society to become a personal prostitute.
I
Numke did that with
don't
Biggs.
think so. Yeah, I tried.
Yeah. Rusty did that, or he tried, with I think everyone on the Trash Rats.
I think Reactor has accepted his fate as being his brother's personal prostitute at this point.
Yeah, he's living in his brother's compound. He's holed
He's
up
editing
there.
videos for him.
His brother was like, "You're out there. You're going too crazy out there, Chris. You're slandering the family name with your schizo posting." And
Well, I think the idea was Reactor just didn't want to live in Chicago anymore because the mayor is racist against white people. So
Yeah.
Reactor said, "I got to get the fuck out of here."
yeah, so he moved to West Virginia. Reactor is just a dutiful brother, bannerman to his liege lord. Tim Pool's brother needs to be on the Kino cast. Yeah, you know what? You can't talk shit about the vaccines on YouTube. So I think that if Reactor came on the Kino cast, we'd get kicked off.
Just don't watch Contagion.
Yeah, just Contagion or Side Effects.
Isn't it crazy in that movie Contagion? Like at first when the pandemic started, I thought the movie got a lot of it right. But then towards the end, when they're doing vaccine lotteries and everyone's desperate to get the vaccine, I think maybe they didn't think that through, because that's not how reality is played out at all.
Yeah, that's not how reality is played out one bit. I wouldn't expect Hollywood necessarily to get a lot of things right, though. Did you see that Michael Bay made a COVID movie called...
I don't really care.
What's it called here? I gotta look this up because it just...
Like fucking Songbird or some stupid ass name.
Songbird, that's right.
Pretentious bullshit.
Yeah, and they're like, we shot it during the pandemic. I'm like, I really don't care that, like, wow, you shot it during the pandemic. Who the fuck cares?
Wow, you and Bo Burnham have something in common. You filmed something shitty during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And guess what? Every single YouTube video I've made in the last 2 years was shot during the pandemic. Give me a fucking medal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
It's not impressive.
Bo Burnham's, Netflix special is just a YouTube video that he put on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, about how he doesn't want to go outside. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was embarrassing, honestly. Like, he was, like, legitimately afraid of going outside of his house. I don't know, can anybody relate to that? Are people so fearful of this fucking pandemic that they were scared to leave their home?
No. I never was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It makes me think Bo Burnham's a big pussy.
I mean, I think that comes across as pretty obvious from all of his videos.
Yeah.
And the fact that his...
At least the special had like 2 or 3 funny songs, but otherwise it was a big waste of time.
Well, I mean, like, you gotta think of it like this too, is that when he went into making movies, the first thing he does is makes a movie about a 8th grader girl. I don't know.
Who almost gets molested in a car.
Yeah, who almost gets molested in a car. Yeah.
And then they end the movie talking about Rick and Morty and how it's the funniest thing ever. At least he had the self-awareness to know that literal children would find Rick and Morty to be the funniest thing of all time.
Oh yeah, that scene was that I'm trying to think of, I might be getting this mixed up. No, I'm getting it mixed up with The Edge of 17. Some of those movies just sort of like blend together in my head.
Oh, that had Woody Harrelson in
That
it,
had
right?
Woody Harrelson in it. That was pretty
Yeah,
good.
that was a good
I
one.
thought it was better than 8th Grade for sure.
And mid-90s.
Yeah. Let me see. Spooky. Ask Mumkey if he's seen We Need to Talk About Kevin.
That has
Ezra Miller.
Alien Face McGee in it,
Yeah,
right? What's her
Tilda
name?
Swinton.
Yeah, I know I need to see that one, but it's one that I just haven't gotten around to yet.
Yeah, the 2 school shooter movies that I want to watch, I still haven't seen, are We Need to Talk About Kevin and Elephant.
Have you seen The Dirties?
No, I don't think I've seen The Dirties.
I think you would love it. I mean, much like your movie, there's Bane posting in it.
I'm looking this up.
It's very good.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this movie. 2 best friends are filming a comedy about getting revenge on bullies at their high school. One of them isn't joking.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's. I mean, I felt like I was watching my high school experience on screen for most of that movie.
Nice. Okay, now we're getting people bringing up school shooter movies here. Run, Hide, Fight? No, that wasn't.
Oh, is
good.
that the Ben Shapiro one?
Yeah.
I saw that one. It was funny.
It was funny.
I enjoyed it.
Die Hard in a School.
Yeah, I don't know why people shit on that so much. I thought it was fun.
Well, it's just mostly like, it's just like, I don't know. I know Easy Peasy and I did a stream talking about it.
I think people get pissy because of the politics of the film, but as somebody who goes into films apolitically, I thought it was a funny movie.
I didn't think, like, it was bought by Ben Shapiro, but I didn't think the movie was actually political at all. I didn't...
Well, I I think you might have missed a few things.
Well, when he says trigger warning, that obviously was... trigger warning, and then he, like, shoots a chick in the face.
I think it very much is trying to embody the idea of the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, and, you know, people should have access to guns and all that. It's like, oh, even though a crazy kid could get it, the hero saves the day with a gun, so fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But then again, I live in the South where everyone has guns, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't really see it.
Well, yeah, but Hollywood movies, you're not going to get a message like that. That's why the movie is so much of like a unicorn.
Yeah, although I think that movies like that are having a greater place, like, because as Hollywood gets more, I mean, I hate to say this word because it's been so memed to death recently, but as Hollywood gets more woke, I think that it's turning a lot of people off from kind of the mainstream crap, or at least I'm hoping that it is, and I'm hoping that some more interesting directors can just make films outside of Hollywood that don't conform to the sort of, you know, Hollywood ethos of just, I mean, and most of the Hollywood people that I know that kind of buy into all that stuff, they're really dumb. Like, they're honestly like only like buying into it because it's like the fashionable thing, because it's like cool to say that you believe the stuff, you know, and stuff like that. That's like the only reason that they're doing it. They don't think about it that hard. You know, people think that, oh, these Hollywood people are scheming behind closed doors. No, it's literally a bunch of vapid airheads that get told from some other people that this is how they should think, and that it's fashionable to think this way, and so they think that way.
Yeah, I think they very much do live in a bit of a bubble of politics and don't really get influenced by outside points of view too often, because the people who flock to those parts of the country typically are aligned politically.
Yeah, exactly. And so it becomes an echo chamber, and then they aren't really in tune with you know, the rest of America, really the rest of the world. Kino, all your favorite filmmakers are leftists. That's not true.
What do you think of the idea, and I see this tossed around all the time, that there's no such thing as a non-political movie, there's no such thing as an apolitical game? Do you think that art can be apolitical?
Now, I think that what people who say that do is they do these, like, they use political as kind of a weasel word, right?
Yeah.
Where they just kind of move the goalpost when you're like, well, it's not it's not talking about politics, and it's like, but it's talking about changing something. It's talking about.
But they're saying that slavery's bad. That's political.
Yeah,
common sense shit is political to you.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, so that's kind of, that's kind of what I doubt. I doubt that all art is political. Like the Brown Bunny, for example.
Well, what about your movie? You directed and wrote it. Would you say your movie is political?
No, there's almost no politics in it.
Yeah. So when people say that, you can say, motherfucker, I made art and it's not political. Get fucked.
Yeah.
GG, no read.
Yeah. I mean, if, talking about father figures and talking about the sort of, the feeling when you're a teenager of being shit at everything and having nowhere to go, I don't think that's a political thing. I think
although I bet somebody would say, well, but the kids were too young to go to the bar and they snuck in, and politically maybe the drinking age should be 18 and not 21. So really, it's an anarchistic message about the strict totalitarian government of America. Like, nah, these kids just wanted to sneak into the bar.
It's really as simple as that. You can talk about the balancer black pilling about the ending of the universe and stuff like that, but it's not like. And the thing is that you can have political characters in movies too, and the film itself can be political or can be apolitical. It's just like, I'm gonna have this character.
Yeah, like The Great Dictator, famous apolitical movie.
Someone asked, is a Serbian film political? I would say a Serbian film is a political film.
Oh yeah, I mean, just based on the title, it's clearly trying to tell you something about life in Serbia.
Yeah, it's definitely a satire of the Serbian government, Serbian society. I would definitely.
I wish I knew more about their history and politics to really grasp the satire of it.
Yeah,
because I feel like if I did some research, I would appreciate the film even more.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that. I was actually thinking that when I was watching the movie, is I could see, I was like, you know what? This seems so obvious, like it's commenting on something in Serbia, but I don't really know that much about Serbia. But I do get the feeling, you know what I mean? That's a weird feeling. So it made me want to go and learn a bit more about Serbian history and Serbian society. Because I feel like if you're Eastern European, that movie hits differently than if you're an American. The fact that someone can boil everything down to what is valuable to them personally, it isn't an argument for their values' universality. I could say all films are religious. Yeah, exactly. It's people, and it's also people projecting themselves onto movies. That happens all the time, where they watch a movie and they're like, "Oh, this definitely is about this." I'm like, "What movie are you watching?" Like a famous quote, famous interview was with David Lynch about Mulholland Drive, and somebody said, so what do you think about Mulholland Drive being a sexist film? And then David Lynch goes, Johnny, I think that says more about you than it does about me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I remember as an English major, you would learn about all the different theories of how you react to art. And I always liked the idea of any piece of art is only half owned by the artist, and then the other half is whatever the reader brings to it themselves, even though there's no way to control what they're going to bring into it. It's all that death of the author shit.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if people want to bring their own life experience into a film and interpret it in their own way, I don't see why that's a negative thing, unless they're trying to force their view onto everybody else and say, no, you watched the movie wrong. You should have my life experience with this film.
Yeah, and the way that I see movies is like, now, I think that most ways that people view a film are typically pretty valid, unless it's so off the mark that it's like, were you like tripping acid during it? Because the thing is that most movies are honestly pretty easy to read. You know, most films are pretty easy to get. You know, Die Hard.
Well, not Joker. A lot of people did not understand that one.
No, they didn't. Well, I think there's a lot of. Joker was a really weird scenario where there was a whole lot of propaganda for some reason before the movie came out by people who had never seen the movie, claiming that it was one thing, and then when the movie came out and it was something totally different, they still claimed that it was that thing even after they had seen it. And it's like, oh yeah, it's a movie about mental health issues in America. But no,
And it has a pretty powerful "eat the rich" message.
yeah, exactly. Oh no, it's about incels. That's
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh. It, and the thing is, I think a lot of the people that bought into that never actually watched the movie.
Yeah. Well, it made $1 billion, so
Yeah.
somebody had to have seen it.
Yeah, I think that Joker was actually more profitable than Avengers Endgame.
I think it was the most profitable comic book movie of all time,
Yeah.
just based on the budget.
Yeah, because it was a $50 million budget, and it made...
Yeah, Endgame cost like $500 million to make.
Yeah, and then when you also factor in with... when you also factor in with a film like Endgame, you have to like double it or even more than double it for for what the actual budget was. So with a movie like Avengers Endgame, it was like a $400 million film, but you have to say that it was probably how much money Disney spent on it was probably in the $800 to $900 million budget range, because the rule of thumb is that you double the budget to factor in marketing and to factor in sending off all the films to all the different theaters and you know what I mean, all the kind of stuff for release, all that stuff. So
And I think a few of the actors had in their contract that they also get a percentage of the box office revenue, so even the profits ended up getting cut into anyway.
yeah, exactly. And when you have that many big actors in there as well, when you have that like the number of humongous actors in there that probably all want to cut, of the film's profits, it ends up not being that profitable, even if it makes billions of dollars. How much of that money is Disney actually getting? It's a very slim margin of that. When you look at Joker, it's only really one big actor. The other people are character actors, people who probably just got paid for, their days or just a, one check or something like that.
How long do you think Taxi Driver was on set? Like a day?
Yeah.
I mean, he was in a lot of long scenes. He was probably there for about a week, right?
Yeah, he was probably there for about a week. I would say, yeah. It was probably about a week.
What are your thoughts on Joker 2 being confirmed?
See, I'm not big into that. I think Joker 1 just stands just as itself.
Yeah.
And, I don't think that there should be... The thing is, and I talked about this on the Create Unknown a couple weeks ago. I don't like it when people are like, "Oh, we really like this movie. We want a sequel to it now." I'm like, the sequel's not going to be that as good as the first one. It almost never is. It almost
Venom 2 just proved that wrong.
Well, okay, yeah, Venom 2. But I mean,
because what they did was they saw what did not work with the original, and they just cut it out and doubled down on the stuff that did work, and that's why the sequel's better. But Joker, I don't know if there's that much room to pivot.
Yeah, it's like you see his downfall in Joker, and so is the sequel just going to be a normal sort of cape shit film now?
Well, it will be difficult for us to take Arthur Fleck as a serious, menacing, conniving villain, because he is kind of a retard.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he's going to be a crime boss, but at the end of the day, they will never take the original away from us. So even if the sequel is dog shit, we can just not watch it,
Yeah.
And
I mean,
and
like,
there's a good chance it will be good, and I'm hoping it will be.
Like, nobody talks about Caddyshack 2, and a lot of people don't talk about the Police Academy sequels, or they don't. Like, the sequel thing is not something that's like new to Hollywood. People who complain about Hollywood's just making sequels now. If you go back to the 80s, if a movie did relatively well, if it made somewhat of a profit in the 80s, those studios were pumping out sequels. Everything got sequels back then. Yeah, American Psycho has a sequel. Donnie Darko has a sequel. But just people just are like, you know what? I'm just not going to I'm just going to pretend like those sequels don't exist. I'm just not going to watch them. Or maybe I'll watch them.
But for, it might be 80% of sequels or worse, but then what if Joker 2 is the Empire Strikes Back of Joker films? What if they make one that is just way better? Wouldn't that be fucking nuts?
Someone said that for Joker 2 they should take the Son of the Mask approach.
I guess so.
Rykar says, if Joker 1 was Taxi Driver, then Joker 2 will be Goodfellas. Mark my words. Johan says, the Joker 2 should be about Joker filling the Gotham harbor up with Joker serum so he can trademark and monopolize all the fish in the harbor, like from the 90s cartoon. Someone says Joker 2 equals Shrek 2.
Shrek 2 is better.
Shrek 2 is a better film. That is true. There's a few sequels.
Joaquin Phoenix won the Academy Award for that performance. Like, it's such a good actor-character pairing that I don't know really how they could fail that badly if Joaquin Phoenix is involved.
Yeah. It just depends. Honestly, it depends upon the story that they go with and the direction that they take it in.
And if they combine it with the new Batman with God damn it, what's his name? Yeah, Robert Pattinson. What if Robert Pattinson's Batman goes head to head with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker in some movie?
I think that
Why not?
I think that they confirmed that this Joker is not in the same universe.
They said that about Venom, and then you saw what happened.
Yeah, that's true. I was one of my things, like actually a big criticism I had of Joker. It's not a criticism, but it's something that I think that they should have done that they didn't do to make it very interesting in my eyes, and set it apart, is at the end where they have Bruce Wayne and his parents get killed. I think that the guy should have killed Bruce Wayne as a kid, and then it would be like, in this world, like, there is no Batman.
Shit.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it would have actually made the ending a lot more impactful. And people are like, wow, there's, this is the Gotham with no savior or anything like that.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. And, and it's like, look, it's its own thing. It's not connected to the, Christopher Nolan things. It's not connected to anything. So why don't you just change up the lore for this movie? Why don't you just go wild? I like it when the thing is that I think superhero movies or supervillain movies or whatever, I think they can be good when they're just allowed to be weird and goofy. And
would you really call Joker a superhero movie though?
No, it's not. But it is a comic book film, right? But
whatever.
But I think that they're better, right, when they're not trying to sort of be this puzzle piece in this like epic story, that some executives in suits are putting together. And so everything has to factor in. Like in Shang-Chi, you never have to worry about, whether or not he's going to win or anything like that, because you're like, he's the only reason that they put $200 million into this movie is so that so that he can be a part of the MCU, right, for whatever their new thing is, But with a movie like Venom, with a movie like Joker, they're not trying to fit into anything. They're just trying to be themselves, and they can go crazy, Venom can say fuck. Which obviously I don't think that they say fuck in any of the Marvel movies. I could be wrong, but
they have a joke at the end credits of Infinity War when Samuel Jackson is going to say motherfucker, but then he turns into dust right before he says fuck.
Yeah, yeah. See,
So
they
that's the closest they come.
they pussied out on that.
Well, they also in Avengers 2, Iron Man says he's going to reinstate Prima Nocta, which is almost more upsetting than the word fuck itself. So I mean, sometimes they say some weird shit.
Yeah, but they don't like. I don't know. In the MCU films, it's all the same kind of humor, and it's the Joss Whedon quips. It's the fucking
Joss Whedon
quips.
Rewatching the original Avengers, I do not think it holds up, and I really liked it when it came out. I think that pretty much most of the MCU after the original Avengers is better.
Yeah, the original Avengers. Yeah, well, I don't really care for most of the Thor movies either.
You didn't like Ragnarok? That's the good one.
I thought Ragnarok was okay, but Thor 2 sucked big time.
Well, yeah, everybody agrees on that though. They fucked it up.
Yeah, Thor 2 was horrible. I saw it in the theater because I used to have. So when all those movies were coming out, I was living in Ireland, and Cineworld had like this, which is like the AMC of like the UK and Ireland, and they had essentially the proto movie pass, but you would just buy a Cineworld pass, and you could go see like one film a day or something like that. You just paid like.
How much was it?
It was like $100 a year. And
oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was a great deal, and I lived right next to the Cineworld, so I would just I'd be like, I have nothing to do. Let me just walk across the street and see what's playing, and I ended up just seeing so many films there because I would just get a free ticket. And yeah, I saw Thor: The Dark World in theaters, and I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't pay for this shit.
Oh, before Endgame came out, I was trying to rewatch most of the Marvel films, and Thor 1, I turned off after 5 minutes. I was just bored.
Thor 1 was super boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't care for it. Mumkey, I gotta pee. Do you want to read the chat? I'll be back in 1 minute.
It says, recast a Joker with Vidinlove. I think that's a good idea. Fell asleep during Thor 2. Well, yeah, you didn't miss much. Superheroes teaching kids to be snarky, unpleasant, smug libtards. Yeah, that's true. Avengers 2012 had poorly aged CGI. What does Kino's shirt say? I think his shirt said, I'm a huge faggot. I think that's the shirt he was wearing today. Kino's going to have a golden shower. Yeah, I think he lays down on the floor and pees straight up into the air so that the piss stream goes all over his body. That's what he told me. I do remember he went pee at Rusty's house, and when we walked in, there was just piss all over the floor, and we didn't know what he did. But now we know. I could watch Prime Natalie Portman all the way through. Even Avengers Endgame has some bad CGI. I mean, personally, I don't really pay close attention to that kind of stuff. Is it true Kino laughed super hard at the newborn scene in a Serbian film? I think he told me he did. I think that's correct. I think he told me that in private, so if you heard about it, he must have said it publicly.
All right, I'm back.
People wanted to know what your shirt says.
Oh, so I'm wearing the shirt that the gamer from Mars gave to me that says, drinking, abuse, and lies.
Oh, the Game Grumps shirt?
Yeah, the Game Grumps shirt. So, gamer from Mars art he made. I don't know why he didn't just like put it on Teespring. I guess, he did his own thing, but he had all these shirts made, hundreds of these shirts made. Spooky, just ask him. He'll just send it to you. Because I think he still has like hundreds of these at his house. Because nobody bought the shirts because nobody wants to walk around town with a shirt that says "Drinking, Abuse, and Lies."
I mean, I would.
I mean, I do too. Like, I don't mind it, but I guess a lot of people are like, it must have been a mega fist. Kino's out of breath. No, because I'm winded because I had to run to another building actually to go pee.
Where the fuck do you live? What, are you camped outside of a YMCA? What the hell?
No, I'm in an RV right now.
With no bathroom?
Yeah, it's not like, well, there is a bathroom in here, but I don't want to use it because I don't have a place to, like, you know,
Flush it out?
flush it out. Yeah, so I had to run to another building.
Do you live in that thing?
No, I don't live in this.
Oh.
Yeah, no, this is just while my work is being, while our office is being renovated, we're using this as a temporary office.
Oh, you're at work right now?
Well, I'm at my work right now. I'm not working, obviously. I'm streaming, but yeah, our building is being renovated. So
Hey, what's up with the lack of super chats? These fucking fans, they need to start paying some respect.
they got to give me the money.
Yeah. Kino
Yeah.
works hard for you people. He just posted a new video, did not get paid for it. Somebody drop him a twofer.
Yeah, I have a job. I work at a clinic.
A sperm clinic, you help the guys get it out.
Yeah. I'm in the
You
unvaccinated.
work at you work at the sperm bank, and your job is to jerk men off when they come in.
Actually, you know what?
Don't say actually to that.
So when my mom was in medical school, she worked at a research lab and in Chicago at the University of Illinois, and her job was to collect sperm from monkeys by putting like a cap over their dicks and then putting this
Oh God!
rod into their butts and
No!
electrocuting the
No!
inside.
Trust me, there's better ways to get a monkey's cum out.
So,
Fuck that. Anyway, I also have to pee, so I'm gonna hop off.
All
But
right.
I'll keep watching the stream, so
All
don't
right.
talk too much shit.
okay. See you,
Yeah.
man. Mickey, you don't make money off your video ads. I don't make that much money off of my videos. I think the video I made the most money from was oh, thank you, Cokehead Tortoise. Here you go, freak. Thanks very much. Okay, losers. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't make that much money from my videos. My video that did the best was Uncut Gems. I think that's pretty apparent. And that made me about $500. So, yeah, I get about $80 or whatever for every 100,000 views. I mean, it depends with each video. Like my Citizen Kane video actually has a very high CPM. Let's see here. I make emotes in the server. Kino owes me money. Sigma Male grind set streaming during work hours. Yeah, you know it. Kino lives in a trailer in the middle of an Everglade swamp. Not Everglade. I'm actually closer to Louisiana. My favorite video from Gamer from Mars was the top 5 wholesome 4chan moments. Cokehead, I would not say that. Those the same headphones that were in your Truman Show video? Yeah, probably. They could be different headphones. But it's probably the same. I've bought this, but I only buy these pairs of headphones because they're like $14, and I don't really ever want to spend that much money. I don't ever really want to spend that much money on headphones. Like, I have some nice headphones, but I like ones that plug in. A lot of the nicer ones are Bluetooth, and I don't know. I just don't care about it too much, because because I'm bringing them everywhere. I get stuff lost pretty easily. I break stuff pretty easily, so I don't want to like get anything too expensive. So someone asked me if I would consider myself pretentious. No, I don't think so. I think I know exactly who I am. Do you listen to much music? Yeah, I listen to a lot of classical music. And I listen to some, I listen to some music, mostly, it depends. It honestly depends. I listen to a lot of Brand New, and, Brand New, Wilco, Elliott Smith, Sufjan Stevens, I don't know, like emo stuff, I guess. I don't like either Roger Ebert or Pauline Kael, but I think that Roger Ebert is much more likable than Pauline Kael was. Oh yeah, I you know what? I do like Lemon Demon. I do like Lemon Demon. As far as classical music goes, I like Smetana. I like Camille Saint-Saëns. I like Debussy and Strauss and Stravinsky, Mussorgsky, Prokofiev. I like a lot of the Russian, Eastern people. Tchaikovsky's great, obviously. I had a lot of Tchaikovsky in my come and see video. I had a lot of my favorite composers in my come and see video. I found a website where I can get like royalty free. I can get royalty free classical music, and that helped me out so much because YouTube's audio library is so bad when it comes to classical. It's laughable. Ebert's a decent guy, but his outrage over Blue Velvet was laughable. His outrage over Blue Velvet was so weird. It was honestly like one of the strangest strangest things, I don't know. And hey, on your letterbox, why do you have so many films that are just set as watched but not even rated? Because I'm not bothered to rate most movies. Art's sending you the shirt. I read Lolita a while ago. He also didn't like Once Upon a Time in the West. He didn't like The Brown Bunny. There's been a lot of films that Roger Ebert has not liked that I really liked, and there's also been a lot of films that he hated that or that he loved that I did not really care for. Like, I'm pretty sure he gave like every Tarantino movie like 4 out of 4 stars. Like, he was a huge Tarantino fanboy. I've read some of Lovecraft's works. I don't actually read that much fiction, so I'm gonna be honest. Like, as far as fiction goes, I like, like classics, I guess. I've read some of Lovecraft stuff. I like him, but I like Dostoevsky and Kafka and people like that. But I read mostly just history and philosophy. Have you seen M's collab, Hitler collab? Wait. Wait, yeah. Evola and Martin Heidegger as Kino. Yeah, Julius Evola. Revolt Against the Modern World. Very interesting. Evola was a strange guy. He ended up becoming like a mystic. He was all into the occult and stuff like that. I mean, he's an interesting guy to look into. Are there any Kino children's films post 2010? Let me think. Yeah, you know what? I think Laika makes good stuff. So I liked Kubo and the Two Strings. Studio Ghibli hasn't made a good film in a while, I don't think. was Ponyo after 2010, or was that before 2010? That was before 2010. That was her last good one. Let's see. What was, I think Fantastic Mr. Fox was before 2010 as well. Right? That was 2009. Yep, that was 2009. So Kubo and the Two Strings, I guess. Let's see, was Coraline before? Let's see. Yep, Coraline was 2009. That was a good year for stop motion. Oh yeah, Isle of Dogs was good. Yeah. Let's see. Why are you called the Kino Corner? Because it sounds cool. Howl's Moving Castle was 2004 or something like that. That was a while back. Yeah, that was 2004. No Pixar films? Yeah, you know what? There haven't been any Pixar movies in the last 10 years I really cared for. Incredibles 2 was bad. Cars 2 was bad. Cars 3 was bad. Toy Story 4 was bad. Finding Dory was really meh. What were the other ones? The Good Dinosaur? No. I don't think anyone actually watched The Good Dinosaur. I'm trying to think, when was the last? Luca's May. Yeah, I didn't see Luca. I didn't care to see Luca. For me, you know, they just Inside Out was pretty good. Inside Out was pretty good. Yeah, I think that was her last one that I was like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. I think that was, what, 2013 or 2014 or something like that. But after that, I don't know, like all the Pixar movies, I can't, it used to be that it's like, oh, it's a Pixar film, but now I can't really tell much of a difference between Pixar and just normal Disney stuff. You know, it just seems like they're just making 3D Disney films. Mumkey's not coming back. Yeah, Mumkey went on a piss break. It's, you know, it's like, you know, it's like when Daddy goes out to get cigarettes. You know. Once Up dropped, Pixar tanked. Yeah, Ratatouille, Up, WALL-E. Like, they were coming out with some bangers just, like, back to back to back. It was, like, Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Up, WALL-E, Ratatouille. Like, those were really great. Ebert, more like egads. What happened to your face? For real, what terrible takes you say he had. He deserved it coming to him. Vincent Gallo wished cancer on him, and then he got cancer right after. So, you know, the Gallo curse. You know, it was the Gallo curse. Toy Story 3 was 2010. Yeah, that was 2010. Loved Coco. I was really kind of just lukewarm on Coco. What is your favorite decade of film? I don't know. You know, you would have to ask, like, you would have to ask me that in the context of, like, what country I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like with Italian cinema, I would say, you know, the 60s, I think, were like the peak of Italian cinema. With French cinema, I would probably also say the 60s. With American cinema, I would probably say the 70s. I really like the 70s in American cinema, but I also really like the 90s. You know, you have a similar sort of just like independent resurgence in a lot of these places in different decades. Like, it seems like there's this cycle of actually, I haven't seen Possession. I've seen some of Zulawski's other films. I'm a big fan. I've been meaning to get around to Possession. But you have these cycles, right? And a lot where it gets really sort of mainstream. Things get really sort of corporate. And then there's an uprising from a more like independent source, right? So things got super corporate towards the end of the 70s, and into the 80s. It was all just large, trying to sell you shit with every single movie, making sequels of sequels, merchandise and all that kind of stuff. Like it became very, like Baudrillard was having a field day back in the 80s. And then in the 90s, you had a sort of independent resurgence. And really the independent resurgence in the 90s was really thanks to a lot of producers who were actually buying the independent movies, and they were releasing them in theaters, and also the rise of film festivals. Film festivals allowed people who were making these little indie films to get their movies onto screens, and then producers kind of figured out that they could incubate talent by going to these festivals, watching these movies, and then buying these movies that were made for $20,000, $30,000, whatever it was. They could buy these movies for almost no money, and they were sure to get their money back. They were pretty easy money makers, but they also get a new director under their wing so that they can have, future, almost like future-proofing themselves. But what happened in the 90s, the same thing that happened in the 70s, is that once, like, these people start off as indie, these people start off as being against the system, being their own sort of, their own sort of voice, and then they become the system. They become the man, they become the establishment. And what I think happened with the people in the 90s that got big is they became more establishment than the people in the 70s. And really this new wave I think that we're about to get in film is not going to be because of anybody in the industry. I think it's going to be exclusively because of the internet. I don't think super chats are anti-Kino. Look, I spend a lot of money on my videos. So I always buy the DVD or the Blu-ray whenever I make a video. So on this Vincent Gallo video, I actually found the last DVD copy I could of The Brown Bunny. I paid $75 for it. For the DVD. I mean, but, I just see it as... I put money into my videos. So, and I normally don't make my money back. In fact, I'm in the red. If I was to actually, look to see how much money I got from YouTube versus, how much money I put into it, I've not made a profit. Let's see. Yeah, the 90s were trying to be the 70s again in more ways than just film. That is true. And there's a reason that Dazed and Confused came out in the 70s. Or it came out in the 90s, and it's about the 70s. And it's kind of that generation that grew up then now is spending money, right? They're now buying stuff, and they want to buy stuff that reminds them of their childhood, and corporations know that, and so they pander. And that's just, it happens. It's also why in the 2010s we had an 80s resurgence. Kids who grew up in the 80s were now in their 30s. How much money to have a one-line cameo on Wasted Hours to Squeakquel? If you fund my entire movie, you can be in Wasted Hours to I'll make Wasted Hours to Squeakquel if you give me $80,000. Opinions on Hong Sang-soo, if not, should watch. I don't know, actually. Wait, I'm looking this up. South Korean film director, what has he made? Yeah, I don't think I've seen any of his stuff. I'm not as well versed on South Korean films. I really liked, obviously I've seen almost everything but Bong Joon-ho, and then the guy who made Burning, although Burning is a Japanese story. And I've seen like the kind of the big South Korean films, but I'm really big into Japanese film, but I haven't seen as many Korean films. That's kind of a blind spot for me. That's just 20 and 30 year nostalgia cycles. Yeah, exactly. But you know, like that's just, it is what it is, you know. You should not use what the smoking cig. Yeah, I would say funding Kino videos is Kino. I put almost all the money that I get from the YouTube into you know, into my videos. I just reinvest it, mainly just because I like making videos. Have you seen a lot by Takashi Miike? Yeah, he's hit or miss for me. Miike's very hit or miss. Like, I really like 13 Assassins. I really like 13 Assassins, but I really did not like Itchy the Killer. I thought Itchy the Killer was so stupid. That's the third letter. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. No, you know what? Speaking of T10, so T10 was supposed to play in my town. I was going to go see that actually instead of Venom 2 last night. And they pulled it from my cinema yesterday, right before I was supposed to go. They pulled it to play a rerun of James Bond movies instead for the entire next week. So for the entire next week, I won't be able to watch T10 because they have some deal with MGM, I guess, to play James Bond movies instead of T10. So I'm a little bit pissed off that I got cucked by James Bond over not seeing that film because I was really looking forward to it. Are comedy movies dead? I think that mainstream comedy is dead. I think that you know what I think one of the problems with comedy is that everything, because of the internet, everything has become so niche. People like are now in more like sub-communities than they were in the past. So comedy now has become more niche because of that. You know, I think it's harder to make a broadly appealing comedy film when society now is so fractured. I haven't seen Wallennicker. To Be or Not to Be is amazing. I have that on Blu-ray. I'm a big fan of Ernst Lubitsch. So I think that I think that there's a sort of societal problem, right? And thoughts on Sion Sono? He came out with that new Nicolas Cage movie. I was actually going to watch Love Exposure pretty soon, so I'll tell you after I see Love Exposure. I have so many films that, you know, are on my list. And you know what the funny thing is? You know, one of the funny things is that being a film YouTuber, I have less time to watch movies than I did before. I don't watch nearly as many movies. I probably watch one movie a week. This week I watched a lot. I watched 3 films this week. So between a full-time job, between working as a freelance editor and doing my YouTube videos, I don't really have that much time to watch a lot of films. And a lot of the films that I do watch are you know, they're maybe they're a bit more obscure, or it's just it all depends upon like who I'm maybe sort of obsessing over at the moment. So I've been obsessing over Michael Haneke and Vincent Gallo. So I've just been watching, like, I can't bring myself, honestly, unless it's a film that's in the theaters, I can't bring myself to watch anything that's not a Michael Haneke or a Vincent Gallo film. This is kind of how I operate. I don't know. Yeah, in both comedy and horror, you need to dig troughs dig through layers of shit to find quality. Yeah, that's true. And I actually have a, one of my theories, right, is that like comedy and horror are just opposite ends of the spectrum, because because a bad horror movie is a comedy and a bad comedy movie is a horror. The best Hanukkah movie, for me, it's a toss-up between The White Ribbon and The Piano Teacher. I haven't seen 71 Fragments, and I haven't seen Happy End, and I haven't seen Time of the Wolf. So those are the three, but I've been told that those are like three of his not quite as good movies. So yeah. So I've kind of put them off. But I also just got Happy End on Blu-ray, and I have 71 Fragments coming in on DVD. I had to import it from the UK. I actually got like a box set of The Seventh Continent, Benny's Video, and 71 Fragments. But I've seen The Seventh Continent and Benny's Video before. I really love The Seventh Continent. Benny's Video has some great moments, but I think overall as a film, it suffers a lot in the second half. It suffers a lot in its second half. The White Ribbon and The Piano Teacher just had me like enthralled the entire time. I just couldn't take my eyes off the screen when watching those films. And both of those just have so many great moments, and it's just, yeah, I don't know, like they're just experiences like nothing else, honestly. I really do like funny games. Like, I don't think there's a Hanukkah film that I don't like. Even his weaker films I think are still pretty good. I like how in his earlier films he was definitely going for more sort of Bresson style. Like The Seventh Continent is definitely feels almost like it could be late Bresson. And I do like that because Bresson is probably my favorite filmmaker. If you're a longtime fan of the channel, you'll know that. My favorite Hanukkah movie is 8 Crazy Nights. Dude, I remember when that came out. I remember seeing that at Blockbuster or Movie Gallery. 8 Crazy Nights, and my friends were all about watching it because it was Adam Sandler's new comedy. No, Malick has some of my favorite movies, but overall, director, my favorite is Bresson. So The Tree of Life is my favorite movie, but I think as the director's whole work, Bresson is probably my favorite. Yeah, Seventh Continent. For anyone who hasn't seen The Seventh Continent, you got to go and watch it. You can watch it right now on the Criterion Channel, I think. Is Donkey Movie best Bresson? Oh, Hazard Balthazar. It's a really good one. But I think that his best movie is L'Argent, which, yeah, does feel kind of like a Hanukkah film, or Hanukkah feels kind of like he's going off of L'Argent, right? Because how I see Bresson is, I don't think Bresson ever made a bad film. I think all of his films are works of art that are just absolutely stunning, except for maybe Les Anges du Péché. His first one, because he didn't really have a whole lot of creative control on that under that. But even in the films that don't really feel Bressonian, like Les Dames du Bois de Boulogne, like even that film I think is a stunning movie. And then once he gets into the era of Diary of a Country Priest, that's really when he kind of comes into being the Bresson that we know, right? And so with Diary of a Country Priest, he kind of became this hey, see ya, Mara 35. He kind of became this the director that we know of him to be today. And and then through the 50s he was making all sorts of interesting films. He came out with, I'm really blanking out right now, but his next big one was Pickpocket, I think, after that, right? I don't know. Pickpocket. I'm so blanking out. Pickpocket, the Trial of Joan of Arc. Let me look this up and just kind of familiarize myself again. A Man Escaped, and that Man Escaped, absolutely stunning film. Probably the best prison breakout film. Pickpocket, which got banned in Finland for showing realistic pickpocketing techniques, and Pickpocket is essentially a version or an adaptation of Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. The Trial of Joan of Arc, which is really interesting. It may be one of his lesser films, but I still think it's super interesting, and it's only an hour long, so, it's not like he's holding your attention for, it's not like he's asking too much from the viewer. But it's using almost exclusively the court notes from the actual trial of Joan of Arc. It's lifted from, so everything that's said in the movie was said in real life, which I think is very interesting. And then O Hazard Balthazar, you could say, is that when he sort of entered this new, he kind of went to a new level, but you could also look at him getting to a new level with A Gentlewoman, because that was his first color film. And O Hazard Balthazar and Mouchette are companion pieces to each other. He shot them one right after the other, and they work in similar ways, and I adore both of them. A Gentlewoman is maybe a little bit more on the maybe it's not quite as good as O Hazard Balthazar, but I still think is a very interesting story. It starts off with her suicide, and it's kind of, he's looking back, trying to figure out, kind of seeing how she got to that point. And then his 70s films are, I think, incredibly underrated. He has Four Nights of a Dreamer, Lancelot du Lac, and The Devil Probably. All films which I think are incredible. And it's hard to find them, and it's just hard to find any sort of copy of them. That was the hardest part of making the video, was finding those. And then L'Argent, I just think, is like the pinnacle of his style. It's just like everything that, if you read his book, read all his interviews, everything like that, if you really knew who the guy was, L'Argent is like, that was like the thing that he was always kind of aiming towards, right? That was, if we're going to think of it, kind of Klosowski Nietzsche terms, right? That was like his simulacrum, right? That was like the closest he could create of his phantasm, if you want to think of it in those terms. But and that's why I typically say L'Argent is my favorite of Bresson, because it feels like it's the most it's the closest thing Bresson ever made to like his vision of what cinema should be. I think it's a fascinating film. The guy who created TSBTD DT, I don't know what, I'm very bad with acronyms, so you'll have to spell it out. I watched a seal clubbing movie, Devil Probably. That was actually one of the funniest movies I've seen in a while. The main guy just busts out the funniest lines in the therapy scenes. Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. It doesn't take therapy that seriously in the film. And there is a lot of seal clubbing in there. Oh, they shoot pictures, don't they? Oh yeah, thanks Patrick Dunn for liking my Bresson video. I was Pickpocket is in Paul Schrader's top 10. Yeah, Paul, that's so obvious because Paul Schrader just recreates the ending of Pickpocket in all of his movies. Yeah, L'Argent is really hypnotic, just in the way that it's Haneke. It might be Hanukkah, it might be Haneke. I don't know. know any Austrians except for Florian, and he and I haven't talked in a while, so you know, I just say I see it written, and I know it's Hanukkah. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Oh, I'd have to look it up. I'll definitely look it up before I make my video on it, which I'm gonna make a sort of minimalist video essay on him, and then maybe do a beginner's guide to him as well. I'll probably corn pizza. Yeah, Michael corn pizza key. But what I was thinking of doing is coming out with videos about movies. I just bought some severed ears, or like, you know, not real severed ears, but like latex severed ears, to do a Blue Velvet video. Those should be coming in. I'm gonna do a Fantastic Mr. Fox video as well. I don't know, I gotta go thrifting, but I have to finish this video for the game. I'm editing a really big video for the Gamer from Mars right now, which is kind of like putting a lot of my personal projects sort of to the side. Yeah, you know, I have ventilators, and I have the you know, the stuff that he has. I'm not gonna actually be huffing any sort of nitrous oxide or whatever for the video, but I'll be pretending like I am. Maybe I'll go up to Iowa and do that with Mumkey, because initially Mumkey and I were gonna shoot the Blue Velvet video in July. Mumkey was gonna be like the Dennis Hopper character, and I was gonna be the Kyle MacLachlan character, and we're gonna recreate some of the scenes. Yeah, and then I'm thinking of doing my Halloween video is gonna be on the Cremator. I don't know if you guys have seen the Cremator. It's a really great film, and I would highly recommend. Yeah, I would highly recommend going and watching the Cremator. It's a Czech film from 1969. Yeah, so Blue Velvet, the Cremator, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Vincent Gallo, and then Falling Down. I'll be going out to VidCon. Well, VidCon, you know, it's canceled, but a lot of us are still going to hang out in Anaheim at the end of October. And so I'll be out there, and maybe when I'm out there, I'll shoot my I'll shoot parts of my Falling Down video and American Psycho videos. So, because I feel like Falling Down, I have to shoot, if I'm going to do a video, I got to shoot that in Southern California. So I think that I'll do those scenes when I'm out there. And that'll get me video-wise through November, probably into December. And then in December, I think it might be a good idea for me to cover some newer films, because I think that's when The Card Counter and maybe T10 and some of these other movies are going to be available to watch on streaming or to buy a Blu-ray of, and then that way I can actually get a copy of it to make a video essay on it and make some videos about current films rather than older movies. I honestly much prefer talking about older movies than I do talking about current films. Some current film, like if I watch a movie that's current, I end up, you know, and I really like it, I'll just drop everything to make a video on it. And that's served me well in the past. However, there's a lot of like older movies. I really would like to cover some like weirder older films, like Jan Svankmeyer's Alice and stuff like that. Like I've really wanted to cover that, or Fantastic Planet, or you know, so some of these older films. The Last Wave by Peter Weir, I think is fantastic, and no one talks about it. But the problem with YouTube is that if no one's talking about it, you know, the problem is that if no one's talking about it, it's just not going to do well on YouTube. And it's just hard for me to be like, yeah, I'm going to put many tens of hours or 100 hours into a video for no one to actually see it, because YouTube won't know what to do with it. Recently watched both Sorcerer and The Wages of Fear and really liked them both. Yeah, I haven't seen Sorcerer, but I'm a huge fan of The Wages of Fear. I like that director. Clouseau, I think. He also made Diabolique. Fantastic French director. Often overlooked. Collab with Royal Ocean Film Society. You know, I actually talked about Royal Ocean Film Society in one of my videos. My Spree video. I didn't talk about it. Wang did. I know about Royal Ocean Film Society. I haven't seen one of his videos in a long time, though. I don't watch... Like, ever since I started making YouTube videos, I haven't watched any film-related YouTube videos. Honestly, like, the video that we watched on stream today, my friend's video on the Brown Bunny, that was the first film video I've seen in years. And I'm not even joking. Like, I don't watch any film-related stuff. If you guys want me to collab with him, I remember being a fan of his stuff. I remember liking his videos. You know, I don't know, reach out to him. I don't know him. I don't know him personally, so it would be weird for me, I think, if I like reached out to him and was like, hey, do you want to do a collab? Mumkey's gonna be in my Vincent Gallo video. He's collab with Cinefix when. Yeah, you know what? I was thinking that you know what could be, I have a lot of ideas for like April Fool's videos. Like, well, one of my ideas is like ending explained of like a movie where it's like a really, really stupid movie where it's so like everything is obvious, and I don't know. But one of the reasons, and I wanted to get back to this, so a couple of the reasons why I don't watch film related videos typically. For one, if they're good, I don't want to be like them. You know what I mean? So if they make good content, I don't want to watch them and be like, wow, they're making this content like this. I want to be, you know, and then subconsciously or consciously make my videos more like them, because in that case, I'm just a poser. I'm just, you know, I'm just doing what they're doing, you know. And I don't want to do that. I want to do my own thing. I want to edit the way that I like to edit. I want to make videos the way that I like to make videos. I don't want to think about what other people in the same space are doing. I want to just exist on my own and do my own thing and just say like, yeah, I don't care. Like, they can make their videos however they want, but I don't want them to influence how I make mine. And I know that if I watch something, it's going to influence how I make my own stuff. You know, that's just human nature. The other thing is that a lot of the videos are just like recounting the plots of the films, and I'm not into that. I'd rather just watch the movies, you know. Like that Sallow video that has done really well. That's not my Sallow video. It's literally just I didn't watch it, but a lot of people on my server watched it, and a lot of it was just recounting the plot of the film with a little bit of the YouTuber's opinions at the end. Like, I'm not into that. Like, why would I watch a video telling me the plot of a movie when I could just watch the movie? And I don't think that it's a good thing to say, well, I don't want to actually experience the film. Look, you know what? Reading the plot of a film or having a YouTuber just read a Wikipedia article to you about the plot of a film, that's so anti-art. That's so just anti... You might as well just know nothing about it. Because knowing the plot of a movie, knowing what happens in it, that's not actually anything. That's nothing close to actually watching it and getting the emotional attachment to things or experiencing it. You're just having some guy who watched it for you just tell you what he saw. No, that's stupid. That's bullshit. Look, I'm not about that. And that's what a lot of film YouTube is. And then, like, the other side of film YouTube is just being like, wow, this movie's so bad. Look, I'm not interested in that. If a movie's bad, I don't want to give it any attention. If it's bad, I'm like, all right, it's bad. It's a bad movie. I'm moving on. You know what I mean? I've seen plenty of bad films. I watch bad films all the time. You know, I watch bad films all the time. And you know what I do after I watch a bad movie? I go, wow, that was bad. And then I almost never think about that movie again for the rest of my life unless somebody brings that movie up to me. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember it sucking. And that's about it. So, and then there's always issues where it's just people with bad takes and stuff all over YouTube, because YouTube definitely is a younger, right? Everyone here is younger, and I just don't think that most people's takes are very interesting or very good. I don't know. I honestly don't care what other people say. I know what I think. I know what I believe. And when I see a movie, right? I've seen thousands of films or whatever. I haven't even logged most of them on Letterboxd, or whatever. And I worked in the industry for many years. I know how to make a film. I have experience kind of on the side of the critics. I was underdog to some big critics back in the day, but then I ended up not wanting to be a critic, because being a critic is like being a eunuch. Being a eunuch in a king's harem, right, is like, wow, you get to see all the action, but you can't actually partake. You know what I mean? And you're dickless. So I don't want to be a critic. I don't think of my channel as film criticism. That's another thing, right? I like to think of my channel as art appreciation. I like to talk about movies that I really like, and explain why they are good. Maybe like with Sallow, I was seeing all these fucking bullshit videos. I wasn't watching them, or I was sort of just like skimming through them, right? And all these takes and stuff. And everyone's like, "Oh, it's a pee pee poo poo movie." And what? There's so much more to that film than anyone on this platform was talking about. Okay, I actually like Donald Clark. I'm not calling that. I'm just saying that the genre of, or the film criticism as a job just wasn't for me. I felt like I was on the sidelines, right? I wanted to be in the action. Gaspar Noé loves Sallow, and I love Gaspar Noé. And you can buy nudes of Gaspar Noé on Vincent Gallo's website. That is true. And Thin Red Line is better than Saving Private Ryan, 100%. But anyways, so my channel, I'm like, you know what? I have this experience filmmaking. I have this experience with criticism. But I'm not about, talking about the new films. I'm not about being a critic. I'm more about allowing people to look at films that they might not quite understand, or maybe they don't get it, or maybe they like it, or maybe they don't like it, and trying to get people to appreciate movies that I feel like need to be appreciated. And that, and because of that, there's only a couple of bad reviews on my channel, and Nomadland and Stranger Things. And with Nomadland, I felt like, yeah, I almost didn't even want to do it, but I was so pissed off by the kind of response that Nomadland was getting when that movie was a vapid piece of shit. And I thought that the movie was one of the most pretentious, vapid, it was so obviously made by a rich bitch and who knows nothing of the world, and is essentially just worshiping the atomization of society. And I'm like, why are people propping this up? And I honestly think it was Disney money propping it up, because now if you look, and this is what I said in the video, if you look at the fucking Eternals trailer, it says from the Oscar award winning director Chloe Zhao, right? I mean, so obviously this whole Nomadland thing was all the money behind it was to essentially prop up the Eternals. And so I saw that and I was like, this is so fucking cynical. They have this movie that's pretty cynical, Nomadland is, and they're propping it up for really cynical purposes. I just saw it as just being kind of gross. Yeah, and the rage bait on YouTube, nihilism, it is a virus. I don't like it. If you don't like a movie, don't talk about it. Actually, the more you talk about these films that you don't like and you want to make these fucking, super long, always complaining, right? And it's like, this mainstream movie's gone woke. This mainstream movie sucks. Blah, blah, blah. Of course they do. Of course they do. you know what? Why don't you actually give you? But you're giving them attention. They want that because in this world, you know, every bit of attention is good. You know what I mean? Like, Captain Marvel made a lot of money. Star Wars made a lot of money. These things are making a lot of money. And your rage baiting on YouTube is just keeping it in the public consciousness, keeping it in the conversation. Why don't you actually talk about things that are good? Well, if you're a YouTuber and you have a platform, no one has, okay, I want to preface this. No one has a responsibility on this platform to do anything. You're making, like, I make videos for myself. I make videos because I like to make videos. I don't make them because I feel like I have some responsibility to do anything. Because I have zero responsibility. I could just walk away right now, and you know what? The world would still be turning. Everything would still be fine. None of your lives would be any different from the Kino Corner not existing anymore on YouTube. And that's the truth. Like, I don't think of myself as being any more than that. Like, I just like to talk about films. But, so I don't think that they have a responsibility, but I think that if these people actually wanted to win the culture war like they say they do, they wouldn't be, like, bowing down to these giant IPs and constantly complaining and constantly giving them attention. They should be propping up things that are good. That's what I think. But, I mean, but the thing is that this kind of negative attention, this kind, you know, negativity in videos and these sorts of things, yeah, they get more views. I understand that, and I understand that people need to eat. I'm not going to tell these people how to do their jobs, because obviously, for a lot of these people, it's working for them. But I also think that at that point, they care more about the money than they care about the culture war. And I think that a lot of them kind of want this wokeness to continue. They want this stuff to continue because it keeps them, you know, it keeps their job going. When some shit like Gina Carano's fired or something like that, they get tons and tons and tons of clicks, tons and tons of ad revenue off of that. You know, that's just like, yeah, that's just like, wow, it's like a gold mine for him. Yeah. Yeah, and the whole, like, Johan. I found the most disturbing movie thumbnail that had happiness from Todd Salons, and it was just insane thinking of children watching Happiness by proxy in the YouTube video. Yeah. Yeah, that is funny, actually. Adam Igoyan, I think that's how you say his name. Yeah, I like his earlier stuff. The Hereafter was great. I like his earlier stuff a lot, actually. Yeah, the thing is that I don't even pay attention to anything Star Wars. I honestly do not give a shit. I don't give a shit about anything MCU. I'll go see it for Is It Kino. You know, like, I'll be like, okay, well, I'm doing a podcast on it. I'll go watch it. I don't really think much of it. I'll talk, you know, and then I'll talk about it on Is It Kino. But, oh yeah, see Kim Jong-un. I'll talk about it on Is It Kino, but I don't like to give a lot of attention to any of these movies. You know, aside from that, I'm just super apathetic towards everything in the mainstream. You know, I don't think it's hard to just not care. I don't think that it's that hard. But Bill Downs, Raul Ruiz. Have you seen any of his films? His movies are too hard to find. Same with I don't know how to say that name, Cesar Montero. I appreciate their movies, but a lot went over my head. Yeah, some directors are really difficult to find. One director I talk about a lot, and his films are super hard to find, is Theodoros Angelopoulos. There's a lot of these directors from foreign nations who make really good films, but they're also pretty difficult to find. Tenet is the best Bond film. Yeah, it honestly is a Bond film. And I think I said that when Tenet came out. I'm like, this is just a Bond film with, like, with time travel, or even if time reversal, I guess. I'm not really even excited for the next Bond film. I really don't care. I'll go watch it. We're gonna review it on Izakino. But I don't make any money from Izakino. You know, I just do it because it's fun. And I don't think that just doing a basic review of it and then leaving it at that is giving it much attention. I'm not really talking about people who kind of just review whatever the new movie is. When I'm saying giving attention, I'm saying like people who make a lot of videos, give a lot, you know, they make their entire social media presence essentially complaining about these films. I think there's a difference, you know, because if you're a critic, you can't just criticize movies that you think are good, you know. Thoughts on Von Trier and his best film? His best film is obviously Antichrist. No, actually, I like Von Trier. Some of his stuff is, you know, better than others. But I really do like Antichrist. Dancer in the Dark was good. I liked his first movie, The Element of Crime, a lot. Melancholy was great. Yeah. Nymphomaniac 1 and 2, we talked about that earlier, so I liked 1 better than 2. And I haven't seen The House that Jack Built. And I haven't seen Breaking the Waves. I almost bought that in the last Criterion sale. So maybe I'll get Breaking the Waves the next one. Mumkey's friend Biggs makes all the money from Izakino. Yeah. And how much money exactly is that? You know, we get like probably average about 1,000 views per review, right? It's like maybe $5. Yeah, so Biggs is making $5 a week. I'm essentially just a Patreon sub to him. If he is getting the money from Izakino, I'm helping him get about $5 a week, probably. Maybe less than that. And there will be a new Izakino out this Sunday. A new KinoCast out, probably Monday. 3 new KinoCasts next week. I'm going to be uploading 3. So, one is about Sallow, one is about Midnight Cowboy, and one is about Malignant and Karen. So I'll be uploading 3 KinoCasts next week. It's going to be a week of KinoCasts. I've been having them sit on my hard drive for a while. I just need to get them out. Yeah, I think we're going to give this 10 more minutes, and then I'll end the stream. I want to see if anyone here has anything that they would like to say, any questions. Yeah, I'll be reviewing the or not reviewing, but doing a dive. I don't like to say that I review films. I like to say that I do a video on them, because sometimes I analyze them, sometimes I review them, sometimes I talk about the history behind them, you know. Really, I just like sort of using the movies as a jumping off point to talk about something else. Best movie for each year of the past 5 years. So let's see, 2020. What was the best movie of 2020? It's difficult. 2019, The Lighthouse. 2020, I don't know, Possessor, maybe? And maybe Minari. Maybe Minari or Possessor. 2018, Cold War. 2017 and 2016. 2021, so far my favorite movie is The Card Counter. 2017. Let me see what movies even came out in 2017. I don't even think of. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Snowman. Yeah, that was a great. You Were Never Really Here. That was good. Oh, Brawl in Cell Block 99. That was really good. Ghost Story. Yeah, that's definitely up there for me. I think Wind River, that was pretty good. Oh, Good Time. Good Time was my favorite movie of 2017. Easy. Let's see, 2016 movies. Let's see what we got here. Silence. I remember that being okay. Let's see here. I don't recognize any of these. Nocturnal Animals, I actually wasn't a big fan of. The Neon Demon was okay. I really liked The Lost City of Z. I really liked A Monster Calls. Hacksaw Ridge was pretty good. Don't Breathe was good. Jackie was good. Manchester by the Sea was really good. I think that was also the same year as Me and Earl the Dying Girl, which I really liked. I don't know. Maybe I would have to go with The Lost City of Z. I really liked that one. I thought that was great. Or Manchester by the Sea. That was also really good. Let's see what came out in 2015. 2015. I'm looking through The Revenant. I couldn't care less about The Revenant. Joy, didn't give a shit. Green Room was awesome. The Hateful Eight, I did not like. The Witch. Maybe it's The Witch. Spotlight, that one Best Picture. It was like a TV movie. I don't get the love for Spotlight. Bridge of Spies, yeah. Sicario. Maybe Sicario was my favorite of 2015. Bridge of Spies is just Spielberg. 2014, it's a toss-up between Grand Budapest Hotel and Boyhood. 2013 movies. Was that the year The Master came out? Was that 2013? Under the Skin. Oh, yeah. That was great. Blue Ruin. Gosh, that was a good one. Prisoners, An Enemy. Those were great. Let's see. Filth, we talked about that earlier. That was great. The Wolf of Wall Street was awesome. Joe was great. That was a good year. Jodorowsky's Dune, that was great. Her, man, 2013 was a great year. Gravity was pretty good. Secret Life of Walter Mitty, that was mid. I would say that was mid. The Way Back was also mid. What year was The Master? I think that was 2012. So if we're gonna say 2013, I don't know. That's a difficult year. That's a really difficult year. I gotta say, probably Under the Skin. 2012 is The Master. 2011 is The Tree of Life. And then 2010. Another good year. Seems like at the early 2010s, they were much better than now. 13 Assassins, that was good. True Grit, that remake was good. I actually liked I'm Still Here. I thought it was funny. The Man from Nowhere, The Crazies. I guess 2010 wasn't super great. Titanic 2. The Nightmare on Elm Street redo. Shutter Island's good, I guess. 127 Hours was pretty good. Buried, yeah, that was... I don't care for Ryan Reynolds. Let's see, 2020 Oscars, maybe. The Hurt Locker was 2010, I guess. Oh, no, that's 2009. Give me a second. 2011 Oscars. Let's see what was nominated. Oh, that's the King's Speech here. The Fighter, Inception, Social Network, Toy Story 3. Yeah, maybe I would say The Social Network. Or... yeah. I didn't think that year was particularly great. I didn't really care. Like, Inception's a fun movie, but it's, it's a fun movie, I would say. What's the best foreign language film? Oh, Dogtooth. Dogtooth, easily. Best film of 2010. Yeah, so that's my favorite film of 2010. Favorite, check out He Who Gets Slapped if you haven't then. That's actually my favorite silent film. Wait, watch Passion of Joan of Arc. Yeah, Passion of Joan of Arc is great. I actually liked Only God Forgives. I saw it in the cinema, and I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Said, hey, I know you. You're that guy Riker says has a big willy. Thanks. Let me see. And I realize this is... Oh, Rabies. When you joked on Twitter about reading the My Little Pony Sallow fanfic on YouTube, I looked it up and realized this is absolutely not going on YouTube. Yeah. Oh, Phantom Thread might also be one of my favorites of 2017. Yeah, I was like joking about reading it on YouTube, and then I started reading the fanfic, and I was like, no, I'm gonna get kicked off YouTube if I read this. This is not good. And I've read 120 Days of Sodom. You know, the Marquis de Sade, and it seems like it's kind of going. You know, it's that fanfic seemed like it was kind of going for the same vibe, but with ponies, and like it's already a lot to take when it's already a lot to take when it's with people. Then when it's with ponies, it's like it's a whole other level of degeneracy that's going on. Letterboxd list of big booba women. Okay, guys, to finish off this stream, I think that we should finish. Let's see. This is Inception right here. We should finish, and the award for the best BJ scene goes to films with very memorable scenes. All right, so we got The Shining, we got Filth, we got Midnight Cowboy, we got The Adventures of Elmo and Grouchland, Ghostbusters, Nymphomaniac, The Brown Bunny, a Serbian film. Let me know if I should add any. Tags, sex, oral, movies, The Brown Bunny, Gallo, Serbian, funny, haha, Lars von Trier. Let's just say Bob Balaban. Midnight Cowboy, Joe Buck, Ratso, Jack Torrance, and what's the guy's name in The Brown Bunny? His name is Bud Clay. Bud Clay, that's what we're talking about. Ghosts. Paranormal. That's a good tag for this, I think. Let's see here. What else should I add? I gotta... I have the scene where the dude from the dance... Have you seen that? Vote in the comments, guys. Ghostbusters. Epic. Put it on SoundCloud. Oh wait, sorry, maybe I should put Bruno in there. Pulp Fiction has this, where you've seen the dance. Have you seen that? Scene in the dance. vote in the comments, guys. Yeah. Maybe I should change it from BJ to suck. Right? I think maybe BJ might get me flagged. Best suck scene. There we go. Most memorable scenes. Alright, guys. I made the list. Let me link the list in the chat here. You guys can go and I've seen 87%. I guess the one film I haven't seen is Elmo and Crouchland. You, Me, and Everyone We Know. Cinema's Best Sloppy Toppy. Yeah. If you guys have any suggestions for the best scene, let me know. As always, I can add to the list. Just comment. Just comment on it. Supposedly Annette has a scene about oral sex where he's like singing while he's doing it. So I don't know. I haven't seen Annette yet. I hear it's an interesting film, but I gotta get around to it. I got like a million movies to watch. You know, I got like a million films I gotta watch. It's like a humongous backlog of films that I gotta get done, and it's really hard. You know, like it's like, yeah, you know, I tell people, yeah, I'm really excited to I really want to watch all these films, you know, and all this kind of stuff, and then I just don't have any time, and I have so many other films I gotta watch, and I have to prioritize films that I'm making videos on, or can make videos on, over films that I just want to watch for, you know, my own personal enjoyment. Wasted Hours BTS featuring Isaac Mahaffey. No, I was pretty Volcel during the making of Wasted Hours. Yeah, I was not doing any of that stuff while making that film. Just keeping myself pure of mind, pure of spirit during the filming of my movie. So, you know, I think that, I don't know, I think that if you're making a movie, most people, when they're making films, don't really have time for any of that stuff, you know? It's like, okay, you're working 15 hours plus a day, and you're just tired. You're just tired at the end of it. You go home, you go to your hotel or wherever you're staying, you know, and you're so tired that you just don't have the energy for anything else. When you're making a movie, all the energy you put into making the movie. You know, so yeah, no, you won't see me doing any sort of lascivious activity during the filming of any film. You know, you can tell that to Vincent Gallo, but I doubt he was really getting any while he was making his films, to be honest. You know, he talked about the scene, how he was so nervous. It's actually, you know, sex scenes are very uncomfortable to shoot. They're probably the unsexiest scenes to shoot, to be honest. But yeah, no, semen retention during filming, no FAP, nothing of that nature, just all the energy going into crafting a piece of art. That's how it should be. Living like a monk. You know, you gotta live like a monk. You gotta read St. Augustine, Confessions. You gotta read Dante and Milton. You gotta read the Mystics. You have to put yourself into that sort of transcendental space, that sort of mystical space where you can operate with a sort of zen. You know? So yeah. Yeah. I think this is where I'm going to end the stream. So thank you all for joining me on this Friday afternoon. Be going home and I might be watching Joe. I don't know. Maybe I'll be working. I tend to work at night. So yeah. I hope you all have a good night. I'll see you all later.